You remember, I know Joe Biden just gave that horrible speech, horrible, awful speech, worst probably I've ever heard from a president, most divisive I've ever heard. And you remember like yesterday what I told you it was going to be? He's going to give some big speech tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll bring you some of it. And it's about the soul of the nation. Write this one down, Mr. Producer. It's going to be a nasty, divisive, name-calling, just bitter thing. All right, in all seriousness. It was very nasty. It was. That was actually pretty easy to predict. I think a salamander could have seen that one coming. But okay, so what did you actually see? Maybe your blood pressure is still popping out of the veins in your forehead. Maybe you're still mad. Maybe you're scared. Maybe a lot of different feelings are probably going through you right now. None of them all that positive. All right. But what did you see? Let's set that emotion aside and figure out why. Because remember, the why is always important. When you're dealing with communists and you're dealing with people who lie for a living, there's always a reason. There's always a why. Joe Biden didn't get up there tonight and, Republicans are fascist. He didn't get up there and say that tonight just on a whim, right? That wasn't just off the cuff. I'm just going to speak from the heart. These people can't speak from the heart because there's no heart in there. They sat down, Joe Biden and his team of communist Obama people, and they figured out exactly what he was going to say. And they've been leaking this kind of stuff all week, semi-fascist, fascist. So this is very clearly a strategy they've worked up. They sat down, speechwriter after speechwriter, rewriting. I like that word. I don't like that word. Everything you saw tonight, for the most part, was very purposeful. So set aside your anger and your stress and your sadness for a second, and let's talk about the why. Why would you give a speech like that? I've had so many people email me and already, why? Jesse, I don't understand. Why? That's divisive. It turns people against each other. Well, 3 reasons. That you give that speech tonight for 3 different reasons. First, this is one we talk about often, so I'm not going to dwell on it a lot here. But what you're seeing now is communists using their power to make you an enemy of the state. Almost everything they're doing right now is either rewarding their friends or punishing their enemies. Remember this, these are the 2 different parts of the communists versus the right. And actually, they're correct about this, and we've been wrong about this, myself included. Communists believe when they achieve power, when they acquire power, we have the presidency, we have the IRS, we have the FBI, we have these things. They believe in using that power to make sure they keep power and gain more power. That's their philosophy. The right, because we're all about that limited government life, and myself included, right? I want government to be tiny. We will watch them do that. And then when we take power, we won't take back all the power the communists just took from us. We will take power and then actually brag about, I could do this, but I wouldn't. It wouldn't be right. It just wouldn't be the right thing to do. And therefore, the communists' power only grows and ours only shrinks because we never take back ground. What you saw was just the ongoing effort to turn you, not Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump's one man, to turn you into an enemy of the state. Because once you've become, in their eyes, a domestic terrorist, you've seen all the FBI reports about school board parents and that Gadsden flag you have. Once you've become a domestic terrorist officially, well, that's great for them. Just send the cops after you. Throw you in cuffs, throw you in a jail cell. Once they're able to finally achieve making you an enemy of the state, a domestic terrorist, they will use the power of the state against you. Because remember, these people use their power. They'll use the military against you. Don't think threatening you with an F-15, don't think that was just something that just came off the cuff. They will send the military after you. That's what they believe. That's what the communist believes. So that's 1. It was about making you an enemy of the state. 2. We've talked before about how we're sandwiched. And in case you're just now tuning in, maybe you're a first-timer here, what I mean by this is this. You currently, as a normal American, you are sandwiched in a very, very bad way. You have all the leaders at the top, everyone in your government, FBI, IRS, they're all up here on top. If you go to blue areas like Washington, D.C., they own all the judges too. They own all the cops. It's just, they're all here on top. They believe you're an enemy of the state. They hate you. So what do? They go out and put out messages all the time about how you're a fascist, you're a semi-fascist, you're a threat to democracy, you will end America. But why do that? Because not only do they own the top, they own the bottom. You're here in the middle, the normal American. Job, wife, husband, kids, normal life. They own the bottom. The disgusting, despicable dregs of society. Drug addicts, violent criminals, people with nothing to live for, people with violent tendencies, the Antifas, the climate change nutters, the Black Lives Matter people, all these, they own the bottom. And so when you get up there as President of the United States of America and you say, he's a fascist, he's evil, he's a threat to America. What you're doing is you're sending the bat signal up into the sky to the dregs of society that it's open season on you. And you need to make sure you're ready to protect yourself. If you don't believe me, I want you to go look up the articles that list all the acts of violence, assault and murder that took place against Trump supporters for 4 years. It took place just because of this. It was never the politicians, right, assaulting them. It was always the politicians saying, we'll get in your face, we'll hurt you. It's time to punch people, it's time to hurt people. And then crazy Antifa guy with a bunch of rings in his face and tattoos by his eyes, he hears that. He has nothing to lose because he's a lifelong loser and always will be. He goes and grabs his baseball bat and goes looking for grandma in a MAGA hat. You're sandwiched. They have you on top, they have you on the bottom. So that was number 2. That was a bat signal you heard tonight. Go commit acts of violence against people on the right. After all, that would make you a warrior for democracy, right? You're fighting traitors. And 3, and you need to hear me on this one, and you need to hear me very well. They keep pressing because they're trying to get you to react. They want you to react violently. They know how peaceful people on the right are, incredibly peaceful. They understand that full well. They want some guy sitting in his basement right now, maybe this is you. They want you 6, 7 beers deep, and they want you to watch that speech tonight and get so mad you go grab your rifle and you drive down to some government building and start shooting. They want you to be violent. They want you to do something illegal. Now, why? Why would they ever want that? Well, I know you wouldn't. I know you want, don't do it. Don't do anything violent or illegal. Calm down. But let's say you did. Let's say right now you did. You've had enough. You go grab a weapon, you go start hurting people. Do not do that, but let's say you did. What would be their response? That, not inflation, not the border, not gas prices, that, your response tonight would lead every single news show, not for one night, for weeks, they would focus on the violent right, just like they have with January 6th. It's way beyond you, by the way. You want another reason not to do it? Everyone you know would come under fire from the FBI. Every single person you know. How many people are you friends with on Facebook? They're all getting a knock at the door from the FBI. Are you part of any groups, gun groups out there? Various gun freedom groups? Everyone you talk to in those groups. Are these domestic terrorists? Are you a domestic terrorist? They want to do that, not just to crush you and crush the people around you. They want to do that as a message to all their other political opponents out there. They want to justify crackdowns. They keep poking you in the ribs on purpose, with a purpose. They want to destroy you. Those are the 3 parts. 1, don't forget this. They're trying to make you an enemy of the state. 2, they want their violent criminals to act. And 3, they actually want you to act. They want you to do something violent and crazy and illegal and dangerous so they can justify sending the FBI, sending the Cheka to your door to smash you into the ground. Remember that.